Scotland Fans Media Conference live from a secret location somewhere in Scotland, just between Bishopton and the Erskine Bridge, but we can't say where. It might be Mar Hall at the Scotland Team Hotel, but we're not going to comment on that. And I'm delighted to say that I'm David Tanner, by the way, by James McArthur. Got to be careful because they sound alike. Yep. We'll come to that in a minute. I sound like in the Ireland team. And Shaun Maloney. Delighted to see you both, lads. And also you can participate in the Scotland Fans Media Conference by going onto Twitter and on hashtag #WeAreScotland. You can send in your questions. And there's a team of casually dressed young people behind us beavering away at iPads and other devices that I can't work, trying to get your questions on. So on Twitter, it's hashtag #WeAreScotland. Later as well, we'll be speaking to three fans who will be joining us on the line. David in Kirkcaldy will be joining us to ask some questions. Looking forward to speaking to him shortly. George from Prestwick is out there too, and also Kevin from Cumbernauld. So three fans spread around Scotland will be giving us their questions. But I'm going to start off now. Good to see you both. You were at Old Trafford yesterday. How did that go?
Obviously disappointing to lose. We knew it was going to be a tough match, but we ran them close. We can take some confidence from it going into our next match.
And are you feeling fit? You took a bit of a bang in the first half, didn't you?
My calf's a bit sore. We'll just assess that tomorrow and see where we are. What
about the shiner? That's what we really want to know. How did you get that?
Shawnee keeps saying it's my missus, but it was really Robin Van Persie, just a wee knock really.
Okay, Shaun, how are you getting on?
I'm fine. I'm fully fit. Looking forward to training tomorrow and getting ready for the big weekend.
How big a week is this then?
It's hugely important for obviously our hopes of qualifying, but I think it's pretty similar for Ireland, and I don't think there's overly much between both sides. So huge game, but it's a brilliant game to be involved with. And I genuinely think people are looking forward to it.
Is it a must-win, do you think, James, for Scotland?
No, and there's no game that's a must-win just now. We're just going into the match trying to obviously win, do whatever it takes. As Shaun says, we're really looking forward to it. The atmosphere is going to be electric, and it's going to be a tough test and challenging, but we're playing with some confidence right now, so hopefully we can get the 3 points.
Are you still buzzing after the performance and the point in Poland?
I think when we look back at it now, particularly the last 10 minutes after they'd scored, pretty pleased with the point. I know we obviously go 2-1 up, and you'd like to try and see it out, but they're a very good side, Poland. We watched them against Germany, or we watched footage, and really pleased with the performance. And similar, the first half against Georgia, or the first 60, 70 minutes was excellent, and just a couple of steps forward again, which is in the qualifying matches. It's I think the manager's been very happy with how we played.
What do you think those big step forwards were?
Well, look, for the last 18 months or so, we've played pretty well, but that campaign, or the previous campaign, was over pretty quickly, and now these matches actually mean something for us again. I know our world ranking's gone up, which is a big help, I think, particularly in the next championships for pots and things. But for the right here and now, I think the results that we've got in the last few games have so much is riding on them, and it's obviously that pressure that and performing under it is a big bonus. And
there is pressure, isn't there? Because I was in the tunnel in Warsaw, and when the news came through that John O'Shea had equalised in Gelsenkirchen in the last minutes of Ireland's game in Germany, it took a little bit of the edge off it, I suppose, the result in Poland. But it does show you that there is major pressure in this group. You've just got to, fight and scrap for every point.
There's top teams, and you look at Germany, they're even dropping points. So we just need to try and keep picking up points, winning matches. And I think what Shaun's saying, the performance in the last two games, especially, has been excellent. It was one of the most comfortable wins I've seen for Scotland, even though that we got a wee bit nervy against Georgia, but we dominated the full match really, and you've got that confidence going into the Poland match to get a very, very good point. We'll take that into the next match now.
Why did that nervousness come in?
because we didn't get the second goal. In football, when it's 1-0, it's always nervy, no matter where you're playing. It's always maybe at the back of your mind that you don't want to concede. But the boys held strong and got the 3 points, which was much needed.
The Germany draw with Ireland was a game changer, I suppose, in many ways, because I guess Scotland, to qualify, would be hoping for Germany to win all the games and then everyone else to sort of cut each other's throats, if you like. Do you think that Germany are going to win this group? I think everybody assumed that they would, but on current form, is the top spot anybody's?
I think we still assume that Germany, with how they performed in the summer, I know they didn't have the same side. Obviously, there's a couple of people retired. I still assume that Germany will be the most dominant team in the group. And when the Ireland result came in, it was because we can't really affect it. It's just a brilliant result for Ireland, and then I don't think it obviously affects the group, but I don't think it would really take too much away from what we did in the last gathering. But it was the same as the Poland result. I think everyone expected, even though Poland are a good side and it was in their stadium, everyone expected Germany to win. And my feeling still is that Germany will go on to win the group, and the three teams after that, I think there's so little between them that, as you've seen with us getting an away result, Ireland the same. I don't think the home form is going to be as vital as what we all thought it was going to be at the start.
I mentioned at the beginning, I always have to check your name in this context, because we've got your old friend and almost namesake you'll be up against in this international game, if you're fit, of course. You've been through so many different experiences with Hamilton and then at Wigan with James McCarthy. What would it mean to you to play against him in the international setup?
Well, we played against each other a couple of weeks ago when we played Everton, and it was nice to get one over him, really. But he's a top player. He's playing most games, well, more or less every game for his club and country, and he's doing fantastically well. I think everyone expected him at Wigan to do as well as he has, and he's progressing really well.
How impressed were you with him?
I was impressed with both of them. I obviously didn't know or hadn't played with them, and excuse me, that I played against them at Hamilton, but I think they were quite young at the time. But in terms of James that has gone to Everton, it's just a very good footballer. I think what's underrated is the way that when his team loses possession, and it was the same with Wigan when we lost possession, it was his ability to win that back that probably is his biggest asset. And the manager we had brought him to Everton to do the same job, and he's probably excelled in those performances and just looks very comfortable at that level. And it wouldn't surprise me if he continues to do that and probably moves on to a level at some point with Everton or whoever. He just looks very comfortable at that elite level.
It's a wonderful story what's happened to both of you. Both Jameses from Hamilton, but there they are. They're still, at the right end of the table in the Premiership. Another young team coming through. Has it been something of a fairy story what's happened to them this season, or does it not surprise you given what you know about the structure there?
No, it is a surprise, as in how many results they've got. When you get promoted, it's so tough to go up to the Premier League and keep getting wins. They've obviously went through a sticky patch recently where they've not got a couple of results, but they're going to do that. Teams coming up, they're not going to win every match, and it's how they bounce back, and I'm sure they will, because they've got a very good manager in Alex Neil. He's very, very experienced, and he knows what it takes, and hopefully they keep progressing as well.
Yeah, great story, Hamilton. Let's go and speak to some of the fans now. David in Kirkcaldy. Good evening to you, David. What would you like to say to James and Shaun?
All right, lads. Do you think we have the toughest group, and how does Gordon Strachan keep up the team spirit with the upcoming fixtures?
I think in terms of the group, I think it probably does look one of the hardest. I think the I think the four sides, and even Georgia, I thought in the last half an hour against the game or against us, I thought they were a good side. There just doesn't look much between us all, and obviously with Germany not winning as many games as we thought, I think it's by far the hardest group. And as for the manager, I think the team spirit's definitely felt different this time. I've been in squads over the last few years, and it can be very difficult for the squad to gel. But I also think that results help that. I think we all have a belief in the manager's philosophy or the way that he wants to play and the hard work that he demands, and I generally think that everyone's bought into that, and I think results have probably proven that.
What is it about the atmosphere that you feel has changed?
I think it's just generally, I'm not sure I could put one thing on it. It's just that the actual general feeling in the group is different. There's a sort of unity. There's a team ethic, so that we've all not been in the starting 11. But I don't think, particularly in this group, that's changed the dynamics. I don't think anyone's taken the decision of them not playing badly. It's very much been a focus on trying to help your teammate who is starting. And that can be quite difficult to have in a group of 25 players that obviously all have their own individual thoughts, and I think that's probably, well, it's a big thing for the staff to try and get, and so far under this manager they've achieved that.
And David asked there, James, about keeping up morale. How does Gordon do that on a day-to-day basis?
I don't think you need to. I think that the morale's already there. That we're all happy to be here. We're all working towards the same thing, and that is try to qualify.
Great, David, thanks for your questions. Good ones there. George in Prestwick, good evening to you. What's your question for the lads, your first question?
Good evening, David. Hi guys, how you doing?
Hi there.
John's just paid great compliments to our national manager there, and I kind of continued the thread of the national manager. If both of you, question to both of you, if you were in charge of the Scotland team, who would be the first name on the team sheet? And you can't pick yourself.
I'll pick Shaun then.
On you go.
I don't think there's many. I don't think you can name one person. I think everyone's together. There's so many different roles in the team that help us all together. You look at the squad now. It's one of the best. It's the best squad I've been involved in, and it's so hard to get into the squad now. You look at players that are even playing at the top level that are finding it hard to get into the squad. So I feel privileged to play with the players and be a part of the squad just now. So to your answer, I would say it's very hard to pick one individual.
Yeah, but if you were to pick one though.
Shaun.
It's a difficult question. I think over the last 18 months or so, I think
Scott Brown.
Well, you've had your turn. I would probably go for his impact in the team, and I would probably go Anya for the last 18 months or so. I think the way that we've played relies very heavily on the pace that he gives us, and it allows us to play a certain counter-attack at times. With that pace, the goal he scored against Germany, and even the assist in Poland was a counter-attack move. So I would probably say him at the moment, just for what he brings to the side.
What do you think of that then, George? Would you agree with that? Is Akechi your first pick, or is it Shaun and James here?
I need to watch what I'm saying here. I think I would probably go for Scott Brown, as James just said. He's got a big influence on how we play, and when he plays, we all seem to play well. So I'd go with Scott Brown.
There's not much argument there, I don't think.
Yeah, he's such a big player, isn't he? I have to get you to stand up and show us that shirt you're wearing there. What is that you're wearing?
You need to. Buddy, name the year.
The year for that shirt?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I remember Stuart McCall wore it, is that right?
Oh, it's like a Darren Jackson. 90.
I'm going to say 92.
7?
You're going to go 97?
I think, and now I should know this, I think it's 96, 97. I've got a picture of Paul Lambert. He wore it as well.
Well,
And you're wearing it voluntarily. Good for you, George. Kevin in Cumbernauld, are you wearing an odd retro shirt tonight?
Hi David. No, I'm just wearing one in 2004, I think.
Okay. Now, apart from doing a very good impersonation of Shaun Maloney, what's your question? He does look like him, doesn't he?
Hi guys, how you doing? My question is, who's the best player you've played against, either internationally or at club level?
You're going to be surprised by this, but I would say the toughest was Moussa Dembele, because when he was at Fulham, he was a player that, when you play against midfielders, it's normally pass sideways, pass. He was one of the only players that I've played against that got the ball and actually drove at you, no matter who was around you. He ran at you all the time, and he's probably the toughest I've played against.
Oh. What about international level?
I've not got a clue.
Yeah,
there's so many. There's so many at international level. Playing against Brazil was very, very tough. The midfield three as a collective unit. They changed the style when we played against them. They became a more aggressive side in the middle, and that was very tough to play against.
A tribute to Scotland, I guess. Shaun, what about you?
I think internationally, a game that stands out was when we played Wales away, and I had a job to try and stop Gareth Bale down. I think he was playing right wing that day, which I found a pretty difficult job. That stands out as a particularly difficult match for me. I unfortunately gave away a penalty in that game, and yeah, it's difficult to forget a night like that when you're playing against someone that I think he was just coming into the very sort of peak of his Tottenham career, and found it very tough. And a bit of a similar sort of job or match I was involved in was, I remember with Celtic we played Man United, and Cristiano Ronaldo had to try a similar sort of role to help my fullback, and I found that just as hard that night. And I think just the physicality of these two and the pace that they possess was something that you don't forget too quickly.
Did Celtic not win though?
I think we drew that one.
Celtic Park, 1-8
Yeah.
McDonald. Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, great games. Well, there you go, Kevin. Were you surprised at those answers?
Shocked at the Dembele one, but obviously that's something that I've never seen him play as much as obviously James has.
I think he'd done more of the driving when he was at Fulham. I think when he's went to Tottenham, he's maybe, I don't know if he's got that licence or he's maybe not feeling like the main man or whatever. But when he was at Fulham, he was a real driving force.
Guys, thanks very much. We'll come back to you. Remember, you at home can also join in on Twitter using the hashtag #WeAreScotland. Hashtag #WeAreScotland. Send us your questions in now, and we'll put them to the lads. Hashtag #WeAreScotland. And you don't have to be wearing a strip from 1997. It would help, though. It would help. We mentioned James McArthur. You've got an old teammate of yours you'll be up against, presumably on Friday night when Ireland come calling, Aidan McGeady. Will that be strange, in an international setting and at Celtic Park?
Yeah, that brings a few different factors into it. I don't think I've ever played against Aidan or James in that. I don't think I've played against either for a while anyway. James at Hamilton. Aidan was. I think I've said recently in a press interview how talented he was as a young player. I don't think I've seen anyone have that amount of ability at his age. I think he did very well in Russia, and it must have been a very hard time for him. I'm not sure how much he settled, but he played very well. And it doesn't surprise me that he started the season well at Everton. He's a really talented boy, very hard worker, and deserves everything he gets. He's going to be very difficult to mark on Friday because he's one of their main players.
How highly do you regard Aidan McGeady, James?
Yeah, well, we obviously didn't see much of him when he played in Russia, but for his time at Celtic, he was, as Shaun says, such a talent. The skills and tricks that he had, and he has done so well when he's went to Everton, and that doesn't surprise me.
It's an interesting one about where the goals come from in the Ireland team. Robbie Keane is obviously a legend. He's getting on a bit now, and after that, if he doesn't score, do you think that Aidan is the main goal threat?
I think he's probably the main threat in the final third. I think he'll be the man that will supply Keane. I'm a big fan of the Shane Long. I think I'm not sure obviously what their team's going to be, but if he plays, I've played against him when he was at West Brom. He was a very good player, very tough on the counter attack. But Aidan will be the focal point, I'd imagine, of their final third with current teammate James McLean. He's another one. He was accounts man of the match against Germany. So he'll be another one on the left-hand side, but the main one that stands out would be Aidan, and he'll be the one that, if we stop him, then it will go some way to stopping their attack.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that is the case? If Scotland can stop Aidan McGeady, you'll more or less stop Ireland.
It's hard to say. That they've obviously got good players all the way through their squad, though.
Yeah.
They've qualified for campaigns, but not just because they've got Aidan McGeady. They've got a top side. They work really hard for each other, and we know it's going to be a tough test. It's going to be tough to try and break them down because they're a very solid team, and they're very. You see from the outside how united they are and together. So it's going to be a tough test. Obviously, try to stop Aidan McGeady and the rest of them.
You were at Celtic when Martin O'Neill was there. I remember him giving you your debut as a 17-year-old at Ibrox in an Old Firm game. What do you think he's done to Ireland, and do you see any sort of similarities to the job that he did at Celtic?
I think it's a job he does throughout his management. I think he gets a set of players that he believes in, and he backs them 100%. He generally picks the same 8 or 9 players. He's got coaches there that will do the majority of the coaching, and then towards the end of the week, when it's close to the game, the manager will get more involved, and he's just he gives you great confidence. If you are one of his starters, if he puts his faith in you, then you feel that faith, and it doesn't surprise me at all that Ireland's results have picked up under him. He demands a lot, and he'll let you know when he thinks that you've fallen below those demands, and I think you can see that in the Ireland team. I think there's a work rate there that's probably similar to our own, and I think the manager's obviously come in, and particularly in this campaign, and the results have shown that.
Do you think he's evolved over time? Did he evolve when you were at Aston Villa? Can you see changes in his modus operandi, if you like, in Ireland as well?
I'd imagine. I think Aston Villa was pretty quickly after Celtic, and it was a similar sort of ethos he had at Villa than he did at Celtic. He played a back three at Celtic. He didn't play that at Villa, so that was a change. The other thing he's very good at, particularly at club level, and buys really good players, and he did that at Aston Villa. He bought players that enhanced his starting 11, and I think that was a big reason why they finished so highly for, I think it was 3 seasons on the trot. So I haven't worked with him for quite a while, but I'd imagine, as all managers do, their ideas will evolve, and there'll be things that they change over the course of time.
Now, we've got a question coming in on Twitter on the hashtag #WeAreScotland, and it's from Callum Shiel. Callum wants to know, lads, what are your best moments in a Scotland top? That's from Callum Shiel on hashtag #WeAreScotland. Remember, you can join in now as well on hashtag #WeAreScotland. So, best moments in a Scotland top.
I would say beating Croatia. It was a big moment for the team. I think it was a couple of games into the new manager's regime. we played really well on the night, and to beat a team that was, I think, seeded 3 at the time,
Yeah, third in the world.
was
Right.
was such a great achievement on the night.
Do you think that, in many ways, that victory, and of course it was followed by the home victory over them as well, has really set the tone and the mentality?
I think that's fair to say, yeah. From there, we've grown in confidence and stature. Everyone's together. We obviously know that we've not done the country justice in previous years with getting to campaigns, but we all believe that we can do it now.
And Shaun, what about you, in answer to Callum's question?
It's I wouldn't say there's one thing that stands out at the moment. I think probably it would be just in the last, like James spoke from the Croatia game. It's probably it'd be a period of time. I think the last 18 months has been a really enjoyable, on an individual basis, a really enjoyable time to be part of the squad. I think you realise how lucky you are being here. There's a moment when the anthem goes that I think it means a lot when you hear the anthem and you see the fans that are generally singing along. And I think just each time I hear that, and particularly when you're involved, it's a pretty special occasion, and it's a period of time. The last 18 months and the feelings of victories with your national team are just, they're different to club level. I think there's individual matches for club level that you can feel like that. We were lucky to be involved in a cup final, but there's something very special to do it for your country, as your family, your friends are everyone in obviously the country supporting you, and it's pretty special feeling when you win for them.
What about the atmosphere? It's going to be at Celtic Park, this one. The vast majority of Scotland supporters, just the 3,000 Ireland supporters. It's going to be an amazing atmosphere with so many big players and so many sort of side issues, with managers and ex-managers and players and teammates and long-term friends coming up against each other. How special will the atmosphere be, do you feel?
It's going to be an incredible night. I think there'll be a fair amount of pressure, obviously, that the players will find themselves under. And imagine on that night it'll be the players that will deal with that pressure the most, and the team that can control the match. I think it's, like you say, there's so many side issues, there's so many different facets to the game that I think whoever controls the ball controls the major issues in each third, or the final thirds of each team. Then there's so little to choose between the sides. I think the atmosphere will build, I think, all week, and it should be an amazing match for whoever's involved.
Shaun's played in many big Champions League nights at Celtic Park with the full effect that you get in that stadium. Have you experienced anything, any of these big nights at Celtic Park before? Or
not at Celtic Park.
Did you get it when you were playing at Hamilton? You wouldn't have slightly different atmosphere when Accies were there.
Well, obviously the FA Cup final, things like that, and playing for Scotland in front of Hampden, it's such great occasions. We know that it's going to be a great atmosphere on Friday. I think if you were to pick 2 matches for Scotland to play in, it would be Ireland and England, and everyone's looking forward to it in Welsh.
We've not mentioned England yet. What are your thoughts on that one, Shaun?
I spoke before the last one, and it's because obviously it'd been the early 2000s, I think, wasn't it, with the qualifier?
Yes, 99.
99, yeah. I think it was just such a special match to be involved with. Obviously, the result was very disappointing, to go 2-1 up and things like that. But the occasion to play England, I think, for any Scottish player is just, you have that opportunity to become part of history. A Scottish team, to be part of a Scottish team to beat England is something that will live with you throughout your career, and probably after that, obviously, with things that you will you remember. It's the fact that the Ireland match is so important almost makes the England game just a secondary sort of topic at the minute. But I think as soon as that Ireland game's done, I think the magnitude of playing England at Celtic Park is going to kick in pretty quickly.
Are you aware of the full history of this fixture? Is it something that, because it's not really been played on a regular basis, for so long now, it used to be an annual fixture, the Wembley weekends, and then they would come up to Hampden. do you still get the idea that this is absolutely massive? From your parents and your friends and family been telling you all about their experiences of Wembley and so on.
I think as players, as being from Scotland, we know how big a rivalry it is. It's going to be an unbelievable atmosphere down at Wembley. It was something special. We were obviously unfortunate and gutted on the night. As Shaun says, it's a chance to be remembered. Really, I can always remember the Don Hutchison goal, and that's something that will stick in my mind for the rest of your life, really. And hopefully, one of us will become a name, and somebody will remember us.
That was 1999. Yeah. Don Hutchison scored. Neil McCann's cross, as I recall. So how old would you be then?
12.
12-year-old.
I can remember it. I was on coming back from a match that I played, and I can always remember celebrating it, thinking we've got a good chance.
Great. Oh, the great memories. Now let's go back to the supporters at home. Let's go back to Fife and Kirkcaldy, to be exact, where David is. David, I'll let you take over with another question.
Obviously, the Poland beating Germany was quite a surprising result, even though they're playing really well. Can you see any other surprises within this group that might kind of shock us or kind of trouble us?
I think there'll be surprises in this group. Yeah, there's as Shaun says, there's not much between the teams. There's always going to be shock results. We're just going to try and control our own results. We obviously look at Ireland getting results and Poland getting results, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what other teams do. It's what we do, and if we can keep doing what we're doing and keep progressing and picking up points, we'll try and get there and qualify.
I think at the start of the campaign, I thought the home form was going to be the biggest factor in us qualifying, and I think as the results have came in, I think it's probably not going to be the be-all and end-all. I think these teams can go away from home now and beat any side, and there could be shocks in the coming fixtures. And I think this will come down to the last 1 or 2 games in the group. I think any side out of obviously Gibraltar, some teams have beaten them pretty easily, but I think generally the 4 teams, I think any one can beat each other, and I think that's going to probably make the group very, very tight all the way to the end of the campaign.
David, thank you very much for that question. Let's go back to Prestwick now in Ayrshire, and George.
Hi there. I've got a question for both the guys again, and it touches on what Shaun mentioned earlier about the national anthem. I think as a Scotland fan, the national anthem is a massive component of the night. How do you as players feel about the national anthem? And one comparison I would maybe ask you to comment on is how the national football team sings compared to the national rugby team.
As in what? How we sing it compared to the rugby?
Yeah.
You mean in terms of the passion that's instilled in it, George?
Yeah, correct.
I think I understand. Yeah. On a personal level, I absolutely love the anthem. I think it's it's very inspiring. It's a big moment during the build-up to the match. And it's difficult because some players don't sing it. I understand that it's a choice, or it's not really spoke about. And then obviously I've been to rugby matches where they're all arm in arm and they're singing it, and it does look pretty impressive. It's an individual thing. I personally like to sing it. I find that that's something I'd like to do. I don't think it means, or it makes the match mean any less to somebody if they're not singing it. I think it's just down to an individual choice, I think.
And George, if you stay on the line, we'll get Shaun to sing it in its entirety, all the verses, and in fact, we'll get him to do the entire Corey's back catalogue if you're very good there. James.
It's very special. I think that's the one thing the main thing that I love about Scotland, really, the national anthem, pulling that jersey on and singing it, the Tartan Army, they're so loud, and listening to them, especially at Hampden, it's something really, really special.
Now, I remember, George, you might remember this, I think it was at the Italy game at the end of the Euro 2008 campaign, where the players, during the anthem, all joined arms, and they were locked together. I think I'm right in saying that. You would have been in the squad at that time?
Yeah, I can't remember that.
Is that the sort? I mean, is that something that Scotland could move on to? Do these shows make any difference? Or the hand in the heart and celebration, or the gesturing like that? Does that make any difference?
I don't think so. If I'm being honest, I think, as Shaun says, everyone's different. It doesn't mean that we're not united and together, because we are. Everyone's striving to try and do well for their country. As Shaun says, it's so special that everyone in the country is supporting you at club level. It's not like that. There's so many different factors. People want you to lose. Even your friends, maybe sometimes that play at other clubs, don't want you to do well because you're at relegation or you're trying to win a league. When you're playing for Scotland, everyone gets behind you, and it's something special when you can make those fans happy.
Good. Well, Kevin and Cumbernauld, let's hear from you, Kevin. What would you like to ask the lads?
Hi guys, I'd like to ask if there's any Scotland game you wish you could have played in or seen live.
Good question.
That's a good question, hard question.
While you're thinking, I'm going to give them some thinking time. I'd love to have been at Wembley in 1977 when Dalglish and Gordon McQueen scored, and then they dug up the pitch. I'd love to have got some of that turf, but I was only 5 at the time. This pair weren't born. So that was my favourite retro game, out with the big World Cup ones. Any thoughts of one that just sums up what it means to be Scottish?
I think watching, I remember watching the '98 first game when they played Brazil. I think that was a standout moment. I remember them in their kilts. That was one I would have loved to have been there. That just seemed an amazing moment. And to play in, I think watching again the year later with Don Hutchison's goal, just obviously it's a massive moment beating England. I think it was 67 as well. They beat they beat England in Wembley. I think those are the matches. It's funny how every match that we seem to remember is obviously Scotland winning. These are sort of rerun pretty often, but that's the sort of point in case, isn't it? If we become one of those teams that can manage to beat England, then we're part of history, and let's hope obviously that Tuesday we can become that.
I think in Brazil, against Brazil, it's one of my early memories of Scotland. I can remember we actually went to the cinema in school to watch the match, and growing up that was such a special time for Scotland, obviously, to be at a major competition, and that's where we're trying to get back to. Also, the other match that comes to mind is the France game that we won. I think that would have been pretty special as well to be a top side.
I was at that one. That was absolutely awesome. The Scotland supporters just blew the French away in the Parc des Princes that night, and everything built from there. It was amazing. Is there a game do you yourself have a favourite one? One that you wish you'd been at, the Wembley Wizards or something, Kevin?
For me, I think it was Brazil, the World Cup '98 Brazil. Again, probably my earliest memory of Scotland at a tournament.
Yeah, Scotland really were at the centre of planet football that day, no doubt about that. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Now, we are the hashtag We Are Scotland. Time for another question from a Twitter follower. We Are Scotland, and it's Brian Burnett, who has asked this question. What kind of music is on before the game, and who selects it?
Barry Bannon selected it the last match, but it gets switched off after about 3 minutes.
Why is Shaun laughing?
One song he got, and then Christoph put some music on, which Barry wasn't too happy about.
So what had DJ Bannon selected that was so offensive? Was it Wigfield or?
R&B.
Avril Lavigne.
No.
No.
It was more.
Lord.
It's more like rap and R&B
Yeah.
type. Yeah. Which is.
He wasn't happy.
No, it's not. It's not my. It's not
Straight
my
off, he
sort of-
was.
And Christophe Berra selected something a bit more palatable.
I think
Yeah,
it was
just
a bit
about
more. It was I think it was more dance type, which
Yeah.
I can stomach more than I can
the
the other genre.
What are your favourite tunes for getting up for games, be it Scotland or club level?
Yeah, I don't need anything too upbeat. I think there's nothing really. There isn't a particular song or band that I would listen to before a game. I don't really listen to the music. I don't have headphones for a match. I tend to just there's certain teammates that you sit next to that I would rather or tend to speak to before a match. But if there was, it would be something pretty indie at the moment. I think there's some old Oasis seems to get a pretty regular play in dressing rooms, and it's pretty hard to beat that. I think for someone of my generation, I think.
You strike me as being a bit more of an X Factor kind of guy.
No, not at all. You know what? I love music.
Really?
I love music. All music, like even your love songs and things like that. I love all music. But I would say Oasis is a big. It's big in football, especially. There's a lot of Oasis from that as well. Yeah.
I think when you play with Scotland, I feel that generally, if the Scottish artists that are actually playing on the playlist, I think that can, that strikes a chord generally with me if leading up to a Scotland game, or if there's actual Scottish artists or Scottish bands, then I'd probably prefer to hear that.
We haven't mentioned the Proclaimers.
Oh, well, that comes on it. Yeah.
We've got to mention them. Yeah, excellent. Okay, well, guys, that's a good answer. Thank you very much indeed for that. Let's talk about some of the guys behind the scenes here. Who are you rooming with? Who's your roommate?
Yeah, David Marshall.
David Marshall. And is he a good roommate?
Oh yeah, very good. He's very low maintenance. He's
good wife material.
No, he's very low maintenance. He's there's a sort of there's an age thing when you're rooming with someone. Whoever's youngest generally has to do the majority of making a tea or coffee and.
All right. Is that
well, this is something I grew up with, and I was made to do it. So I feel like you pass it on through the generations. And but he's a great roommate. He's low maintenance. It just sums him up. Yeah.
Do you have a low maintenance roommate?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, but his bath's not a good right temperature. Runs the bath's not. Tea and coffee. Yeah.
And does he take the tap end or?
No, he's bottom. Yeah. He gets his shower head side.
It's getting a bit awkward now, isn't it? And who is this mystery bath and bed fellow?
Graham Dorrans.
Oh, okay. So he's
good. He's good.
But he's older than you, though, isn't he?
Yeah.
So you
doesn't
make
come
the tea?
It doesn't come into your room.
You're not having that.
No. We've known each other for a number of years, so we got on really well.
Where did you first come across him?
We played in the same boys' club.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Shaun's laughing right now because we always go on about it. Me, him, and Robert Snodgrass played in the same boys' club.
Right. So where's that? East end of Glasgow?
Yeah, Rangers South we played for. When we were maybe 12, about 12 year old, yeah.
Okay. Who is the biggest dafty in the squad?
You might say me, but I'll say Scott Brown. Scott Brown's very, very lively.
Very euphemistic.
We'll just say lively.
Right, okay. There's a couple of candidates. I'm just walking through the hotel there. You can usually hear a few of them before you see them.
I think James would probably top that list. He's generally pretty energetic.
I think that's a positive.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to make it sound that way, and it's he's got a lot of energy to burn, and he tries his best to do that pretty much every day.
Every minute.
Yeah, no, he's never in his own room. He's always in someone else's. So.
Well, no wonder if Graham Dorrans is sitting and hogging the bath.
No wonder. Yeah, he makes the trips pretty enjoyable, James. Even though you see him probably more than you see your own roommate at times. But.
Is there a practical joker in this squad? Because there used to always be somebody in every squad who got up to daft things?
That jokes. He's
There's
No
not
joke
too
in
many
it.
practical jokes. There's just
Yeah.
characters that seem to enjoy each other's company. James, Barry Bannon, jokes.
Yeah.
These three tend to be quite vocal around the squad.
Right, last question before we take our leave. What would the perfect fortnight be for you the next couple of weeks?
I think to beat both sides in the next 10 days or so. I think that would just cap off a brilliant year for Scotland, and I think it's very achievable. But we also have to be very respectful of the other two teams. That can both matches can go either way, but to win both those matches would be an incredible year for Scotland.
exact same. We're here to win matches, and we need to try and obviously look forward to the Ireland match first, try and get 3 points, and then go into the next match and try and create history.
We've just received one last tweet, and it's from Graham Dorrans. It said, "The bath is run. Get your sore calf in there, and we'll see what you can do." Guys, it's been great. Really enjoyed your company. Best of luck with the injury. Hope to see you back in the squad after your check-up tomorrow. Shaun, all the best to you as well. It was a fabulous goal and a night to remember in Warsaw last month. Really enjoyed that. Enjoyed your company as well. Thanks to you watching, wherever you've been watching this online. Thanks to the guys at home, David in Kirkcaldy, George in Prestwick, and Kevin there in Cumbernauld. Thanks very much indeed, guys, for your questions and for your interesting fashion selections. One of you, I won't say who, George. Really enjoyed it. Hopefully we'll spend some more time. We'll hear more from you guys in the build up to these massive games coming up for Scotland. But from all of us here at the Scotland Team Hotel in Marhall, it's bye for now. Thanks very much for watching.